Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And one of the main talking points this past weekend was the viewer experience. On one side, much better than what we had this time last year in Modern Warfare. The Quadcaster was much better. As we're going to look at it, LionMan definitely has some upgraded versions to a few of the things which may need to be tweaked. But one of the main questions was Search and Destroy, right? Hardpoint was fantastic. Control was very much enjoyable. Much better than Domination that we had last year. But Search and Destroy wasn't ideal. Some of these maps don't necessarily look great. A lot of the times it was relatively boring to see because it was a pretty dry affair. No smokes, no snipers on the map, straight gun-on-gun action. It seemed like they were effectively playing TDM on a lot of these maps a lot of the time. There was definitely some pretty intense affairs, but at the end of the day, Search and Destroy maybe wasn't what it quite could be, and what can we do about that to make Search and Destroy the game mode that we really do know and love? Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this from LionMan, decided to try and make the Quadcaster look a bit better. How would you like it if it was like this? This is on Garrison Search and Destroy right here, and as you can see, I think this is significantly better. I would love to be able to see the players' faces and also their KD or something, right? Right now it's one or the other, and I appreciate the league wants to help new players put names to faces, but at the same time, the fact that we can't see their kill death and exactly what's going on apart from in the bottom right hand corner this entire time is probably not ideal. I do think it's a much more beautiful Quadcaster this time around than what we had last year, but definitely still some upgrades could be had. I like what LionMan's done here, especially in the middle of showing the amount of people that are alive and the amount of people that are dead when aBeZy's died right here, making it very clear that he's dead, because they make dead players transparent, as you can see. Like, you can see his name slightly less opaque, I suppose, than Simp's one right here, but it's still not super clear at a glance who's dead, who's alive, how many players are alive on each team. There was a few times I was watching a clutch and I thought it was a 1v3, but it was actually a 2 versus 3. There was someone alive, I didn't realize who was actually still alive, so that's not really ideal, especially for people watching on mobile. So to make it clearer, like, look, 3 players alive, 4 players left, that would be fantastic, and also to make it clearer when players have died, I think it would be a good step in the right direction, because on the whole, visibility is quite nice, but there's just a few things which would make things easier to keep your eyes on. There was also this that LionMan made for Control right here, so as Kerry says, not sure if I like where the respawns remaining is. This was kind of my main concern with this entire graphic right here, because, okay, we got the respawns remaining stats, which already is a bit of a confusing stat right for Control, because there's 30 lives on a team, so there's 4 lives that they've currently got, and then 26 respawns remaining. That's how it works, but you kind of have to do the maths in your head. Okay, they've got 2 respawns remaining, but okay, this amount of players are alive, therefore they've got 6 rounds, or they've got 6 lives left. Now they've only got 0 respawns remaining, they've got 3 players on their team. It's again somewhat unclear how many players they have on each side, whether it's an intense 1v1 or whether it's not. Back in Black Ops 4, right in the middle of the screen, we would have a number that would just say the amount of lives remaining, and this is what LionMan does as a result, but it's the KDs right here, which would be cool to see, and then the lives in the middle. This should actually, I imagine, be 30-30, given, well, it's Control, as we said, it's 26 lives, plus the 4 that they already have on their team. But I think this would be a nice upgrade and make it easier on the viewer's eye, right? Because that's what's great about Control, at least from a new viewer's perspective. It's pretty easy to get into. You capture both zones, you kill the other team, that's just how it works. But, well, when it's not so clear how many lives they have remaining, it's probably not actually too easy for new players to get into. But yeah, certainly could step things up in the right direction. But again, I think this game was significantly better than what we saw last time around, especially from the visibility perspective. But as Tyler Teep says, totally understand why. But S&D without snipes and smokes is a snooze. As Ake says, look, smokes have never been like they are in this game though, right? So, you know, back in the day, smokes never operated like they did in this game. They are incredibly broken. I don't want to, like, say that I think they're not broken or anything. They are incredibly broken. You chug a smoke down, you can see through it like a one-way. It's not great to play or to watch, to be honest, but at the same time, it does at least add some spice and add some variety to what we see on the maps. Right now, especially on a map like Checkmate, for example, you're basically just playing for a pick. If you win your one-on-one, you group up, you stack a site, and you try and get the bomb down or just kill the other team. That works perfectly well as well. You don't have to worry about snipers, you don't have to worry about a smoke grenade or anything in this game. There's no incredibly interesting or dense strategies that you can pull out using certain combinations of smokes and sniper plays, and you know, you can be a lot more aggressive in certain situations with peeking angles, because you know that, okay, they have to hit 5 shots with the Krig to take you down, as opposed to just 1 with the sniper rifle, right? And I thought there was a GA for a time, like, okay, we'll get rid of all the attachments on the snipers, we'll maybe only allow 1 player on the team to use it, and surely that would have been okay, right? Like, with no attachments in theory, if that was a GA, and only 1 player on a team allowed to use the sniper, it surely cannot be that good that it just has to completely go. I get there's no flinch or whatever, and in the hands of a pro, it's going to be very strong, but at the end of the day, is it really that good? Can we really, well, do we really have to completely get rid of it out of the game? And I imagine that the pros understand this, and they're like, look, search isn't ideal, and hopefully working with the developers to say, look, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed, and if it is, then these things can come back into the game. But certainly a lot of people saying like, look, this is relatively boring. I found it to watch as well. A lot of the matches, the intense ones like checkmate between OpTic Chicago and Los Angeles Thieves was pretty intense, pretty back and forth. But a lot of these games, it's like, okay, look, I'll just keep an eye on it in the background. When it gets to 4-4, maybe then I'll pay a bit of a closer attention and see exactly who might come out on top. But a lot of the time it was almost like domination from Modern Warfare, where I'd basically just tune out for the entire map and just see what happens. It was interesting to see what the pros were bringing to the table, but a lot of the time the strats are pretty much the same. There was no flashy moments with the sniper. And honestly, a sniper rifle in some form or another is pretty much a staple of every game. Like I think, well, Hex has said it a few times, the fact that he thinks that what makes Counter-Strike so special is the AWP, right? That one-shot, one-kill weapon is just wonderful, right? And in Call of Duty, I feel like we do need that. I'm not exactly sure what we need to do to get to that point again, but well, hopefully it's something the pros and the developers are working to bring back. As certainly from the viewer perspective, it doesn't make Search and Destroy as good as I believe it could be on this game, especially with maps like Express coming back very soon, maybe with Standoff just on the horizon as well. We could have some good things on the horizon, but well, hopefully smokes maybe get fixed, and also the snipers can come back into the game. Speaking of snipers, we've got Dashy right here yesterday in this 8 series. He was actually playing up against Formal sitting here at like 37 in 27 or whatever, and he goes 67 in 21 with 9,000 damage. This is on Garrison as well. That's pretty remarkable output, right? He comes off that 11 streak that he did against the Los Angeles Thieves, then straight into an 8 series, dropping 67 in 21 in terms of eliminations, probably over 50 kills. It's pretty rare in this game, in scrims at least, that we see kills go past 40. If someone drops a 40 bomb in this game, that's like, wow, that is incredibly impressive. But yeah, I wonder what the kill record will be at the end of the year. Simp had it throughout the Call of Duty Modern Warfare season. I wonder if Dashy is going to go for a similar record right here towards the end of the season, because 67 eliminations in an 8 series against some top tier competition is pretty remarkable stuff indeed. Thought I'd go through this that Crone talked about as well. Team locations at the present time. So Empire in Texas, so OpTic, Thieves, Legion, Rokkr. The subliners are spread between Toronto, that's the scene, and the rest of the guys in Texas. Surge are also split between Texas and Atlanta. FaZe, all their guys are in Atlanta. Toronto Ultra are going to be at their home facility very soon. The Los Angeles Guerrillas are in Los Angeles. That's not so ideal. Ravens right now, well, I'm pretty sure their entire squad is probably going to be in North Carolina when everyone gets out there, but Zero is still in the UK. And then the Mutineers have this Bermuda Triangle split between Chicago, Pennsylvania, Texas. I believe someone pointed out that Neptune is also in Indiana, right? So pretty incredible stuff. Texas clearly dominating, but some of these teams, especially Los Angeles Guerrillas, in not the ideal online environments, may have a difficult time as a result, even if fundamentally they might be a relatively solid team. Also to mention this, CDL substitutes. So the Ravens have Afro, that's FeLo on the Dallas Empire. A lot of these teams have just decided we're going to get our coach in. We're not even going to pay the money for a substitute, because as we heard a couple of days ago, we were talking about these 14-day contracts that Paul X was offered supposedly to join the London Royal Ravens for this kickoff classic. Effectively, you don't need a substitute, right? Because if you want to bring someone in to try someone out, you just get them on a 14-day contract. You don't have to sign them to the 50 grand a year stuff, right? So of course, signing someone as a sub does mean they are actually a sub on your team, and you can guaranteed get them rather than another team going out and snagging someone on a 14-day that you may want to have. But you see a few of these teams going down the route of choosing their coach as their substitute. Most of them not doing that though. So subliners have Hydra and Zoomer. Unfortunately, of course, Havoc got dropped supposedly a couple of weeks ago. Well, clearly he did for Neptune. Drazah on the Thieves. Gorillas have Mental and Chino. General on OpTic, of course. Sib on FaZe. Ultra have Insight. And then Surge and Legion supposedly are also using their coaches as Nubsy and Theory. I imagine Nubsy's not going to be hopping into the server anytime soon. But yeah, as I say, you don't really need to have a sub this season, you can argue, if you can just sign some promising young talents on a 14-day contract when the time comes. Speaking of players like that, then Rookie of the Weekend, I suppose, is a good question. DiamondCon looked pretty decent on New York, but of course, they did play the Dallas Empire. Neptune looked very good on the Florida Mutineers as well. Probably my favourite player to watch of the entire weekend. And Crone says, look, what about Fire? How do you guys think these guys matched up? So yeah, intrigued to hear your perspective. Who do you think was Rookie of the Weekend? Fire looked pretty solid against the Royal Ravens. I think he had like a 1.2 KD or something. But yeah, maybe Neptune was slightly more flashy and also got a series victory up against Atlanta FaZe, which is pretty impressive to do. So Neptune I'm keeping my eyes on for now, but certainly, well, Rookie of the season is going to be a pretty intense one. Fire, Neptune, DiamondCon. I'm sure some other guys over time. Hopefully the Hydra get out of the States as well to play with the New York subliners. It's going to be an exciting battle to see which of these guys comes out on top when at the time the season concludes. As EasyMac points out on the Breaking Point socials yesterday, these were the KDs for the weekend. So Aqua with a 1.36. This is incredible from OpTic Chicago, to be honest. Dashy 1.36, Scump 1.32, Formal 1.2, and Envoy 1.28. ILLey has a 1.31, Shotzzy with a 1.32, MajorManiak 1.23, aBeZy right up there as well, and Fire as well, the guy we just looked at. So pretty impressive top 10 all things considered. Yes, this was only one series these guys played. We'll have to see how this develops over time, but certainly some usual suspects and some names I imagine that we shall expect to see here going forwards for the rest of the season as well. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I'll grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
You had 9,000 damage! Thank God that guy's on my team. What the f? I killed him 10 of his 21 deaths. You guys all getting peace? I mean, I was getting peace too, but holy sh**.
Let me see.
Oh, 9k damage.
Jeez.
That is 67 kills.
I wonder how many real kills he actually had.
Yo, he's a beast.
Yeah, that definitely was a 50. It was, I went 50, okay.
What is that?
There's no K,
Yo,
they only won by 14, bro, like.